checking out our blog. 5 tips to staying pain-free in your back. Now this is what I do just about every single day. As you know, I have a pretty extreme scoliosis, and so anything that I can do in order to maintain my edge, my function, my mobility, and stay pain-free, the better. Now we're going to talk about 5 things. We're going to talk about turmeric root for anti-inflammation. We're going to talk about a certain yoga maneuver known as the child's pose. We're going to talk about the recovery position, which is where you're flat on your back. We're also going to talk about a certain neck strengthening exercise meant to maintain our posture from this aspect that I call the cold stream guard neck strengthening exercise. And finally, we're going to talk a little bit about the type of work that I do, because if it wasn't for this, I would not be a chiropractor right now. So let's start from the beginning. Anti-inflammation. What you're going to do is you're going to go to a health food store, find the turmeric root. You're going to take it home, you're going to smash up about 1/4 of a cup, cut it up, smash it up, and then bring it to a boil with 2 cups of water. 2 cups of boiling water. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to take a towel, you're going to put it over your head, and inhale through your nose. Once it's done steaming, you're going to put it back on the stove, you're going to bring it back to a boil again, repeat that whole cycle, and then once it's cool enough to drink, go ahead and drink it down. It doesn't have much of a taste. Of course, you can add honey to it if you want. The next thing that we want to talk about is something called child's pose, and this is a yoga maneuver. So what we're going to do is, the first thing is we want to make sure that our thumbs are up. So we get down here like this, our thumbs are up, and we stretch back this way. If you put a yardstick on me right now, you should notice a nice flat line. Straight back here like this. Now my buttocks are not touching my heels right now, and there's a very specific reason why. The reason is when I stretch back like this, I'm going to hold this for 2 minutes, I want to be able to swivel my hips like this. Only about 2 inches side to side. What this does is this has a stretching, a lengthening effect on the middle of the spine. This is one of the most difficult areas of the spine to stretch. So when we have our thumbs up, it really opens up our lat muscles, and when we have that little swivel at minute number 1 through 2, it really helps to loosen up this hard to get area right here. The next thing that we want to talk about is you don't need to have one of these types of balls. You can just be on your floor, not on your bed, that's too soft, but you want to have your legs up at 90 degrees, just like this. You're flat on your back, your hands go up to the side, palms down. Now I have the wall here, so I can't quite extend out, but I'm in this position. Notice it's 90 degrees right here. I'm looking straight up at the ceiling. I'm not looking off to the side. I'm not talking to anybody unless you're looking straight up at the ceiling. From the front, it would look like this. I'm flat on my back. And you're going to hold that position for 10 minutes. Do that once in the morning, once before bed. You're going to be very flexible in the lower back. What it does is it has a resetting effect on the pelvis to get you like this from walking around and standing on your feet like this all day long. Now the cold stream guards are the guys that wear the funny hats that guard the palace in the UK. And what you do is you start out with your heels about 6 inches away from the wall. Your buttocks are touching, your shoulders are touching, and your head is touching. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips off just like this from the wall, until now if somebody's looking from the side, they should be able to see my earlobe, the middle bony part of my shoulder, the side of my hip, and the side of my ankle be in a straight line. Let's get a side view. You're not going to be able to see my feet, but you're certainly going to be able to see everything else. So again, my heels are about 6 inches from the wall. My buttocks are touching, shoulders and head. I'm just going to push myself off like this, nothing fancy. I'm going to relax. I'm going to kind of put my hands together like this. I'm going to hang out just like this for 5 minutes. The idea is, after you're done, this would totally feel normal to you, and this would totally feel strange, and you don't want to do that. And therefore you have more energy at the end of the day because you're not using all of these accessory muscles just in order to keep from compressing and collapsing. With a scoliosis, and most people have some type of a curve in their spine, it's not just a curve like this, it's also sort of a buckling as well. The vertebrae actually begin to rotate like this. And when that happens, the spine compresses, we get shorter. For females especially, it can lead to this kind of hunchback thing, which of course we want to avoid at all costs. One last little point on this one is be careful not to let your hips sag forward like this. That would be the default position because that's easy. So you want to be just like this. And once again, therefore, when you walk away, this should feel normal, just like this. The last thing we want to talk about, of course, is NUCA, upper cervical chiropractic. The story on this is that my curves, my spine, kept on getting worse and worse and worse until I was about halfway through chiropractic college. Unfortunately or fortunately, I broke my wrist. You can see the scar there, playing football. And so I needed to have surgery, but my wrist was never very strong after that. The surgeon did his job, but it just wasn't like it was before I broke it. And so I couldn't do like the fast type of adjustments. And so my friend Wade actually told me about his friend in Hartford, South Dakota. I get up, I drive out there 5 hours, and this guy is seeing patients from North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, all over the place, small town, farm country. And I was seeing he was getting full spine results. People's leg lengths were changing. People are coming to see him with fibromyalgia, lower back pain, of course, neck pain, some internal organic type conditions. And I figured, well, I have nothing to lose. My curves are still getting worse. I can't adjust like this anymore. Why don't I try this very gentle yet very specific technique, have it done to myself, and see how I like it? Well, I was adjusted by a couple of the top doctors around Oklahoma and Minnesota, and I was feeling a ton better. Within a short 2-trimester period of time, I threw all my segmental, and I say segmental, not full spine, adjusting methodology out the window because, and I say segmental because they would do here and here and here without even necessarily trying to integrate the whole entire spine, the whole entire body. Now with scoliosis, I've spent plenty of time thinking about this as a chiropractic student, is it's not, there's 24 vertebrae involved in the spine. And so to say there's a problem here and here and here and here, well, it's the whole entire body, it's the whole entire picture. So no matter if you have lower back pain, neck pain, headaches, we have to realize the spine, all of the vertebrae from the top to the bottom, they're interdependently related. They're all connected. You cannot misalign one portion without misaligning the whole entire thing. If the muscles are tighter on one side, what's going on? We have to go to the source. We have to go straight up to the top to figure out exactly what is causing the imbalance in the muscles side to side. Get the pressure off the nerve, let the muscle relax itself. Ligaments over time heal. That's the Elmer's glue connective tissue of the whole spine that holds everything together. Less is more because after all, it's your own body that does the healing, not the chiropractor. So the less we do to you, the more it does for you. It just has to be very, very, very specific. So that's it in a nutshell. 5 things that I do to stay pain-free. Turmeric root for anti-inflammation. I'll do that a couple of times per week. I'll do that child's pose just about every day. The recovery position just about every day. The cold stream guard at this point just about once per week. And then of course I get my spine checked every couple of weeks by an awesome chiropractor friend of mine. Thanks so much for watching.